Welcome to another episode of BBD versus CVJ?
M.
CVM.
CVM. Learn the alphabets. We've got our standby here, a little lobster, lizard, tiger. And I'm excited to play again. I feel like I got pretty unlucky last time for somebody who cheated.
Really?
And just like switched up his method in between. So this time I'm actually going to let you pick first.
Okay. All right. Well, there is no honor in tiger, lobster, lizard. Definitely no honor involved at all. Whatever means necessary it takes to win. It's really the name of the game.
Cutthroat.
Yeah.
You're going to lose your humanity that way.
I will. Well, I'm going to go with this one right here because I feel like it is a good choice that will defeat CVM.
All right.
So
we have a history of trolling each other with rock lobster, even though none of it has ever been scripted. So I have to decide if he's going to troll me with rock lobster, or if he is going to go with scissors lizard, thinking that I'm going to go with paper tiger, or if he's going to go with paper tiger, thinking that I'm going to go with scissors lizard to try and next level him. So I think we are actually on this level here, so I'm just going to make this choice.
I hope that's right. Look, paper tiger.
Oh,
yes,
he got me with the lobster.
Yes.
All right.
So just a point of thing, Rock never loses. So CVM didn't lose this one. He just got second place. So just keep that in mind. It's an important aspect. So I will be on the play. Yeah. I will keep this hand. It has a lot of very powerful cards. So hopefully it pans out for us, and we get to do some sweet stuff with it.
I'm also going to keep my hand. It's much better on the play than it is on the draw, but I still have some awesome cards, and I really just want to see how it plays out.
Okay. I'm going to do probably the best thing you can do against a burn deck and immediately drop to 18 life and then play a Birds of Paradise, and you're up after that.
All right, so now we get to draw. Okay. So I have a couple options here. I can either just cast this, or I can cast this. Because I can cast both. So I can do all three of these by turn 2. Just have to decide what is going to be the most beneficial for me. So I think that I just want to go to the dome, actually. So
to the dome, to the dizzy.
I'm going to fetch.
All right, so you're at 19. Could be 17.
We'll leave it at 19. And we're going to Goblin Guide and attack.
All right, Goblin Guide. Do your thing. Misty Rainforest. Perfect. Puts me down to 16.
And then I'll pass.
Okay. Draw a card. Right. That's not a bad draw. Play a forest and we have a number of options here. We could play this card, but I don't want to open it up to a Pillar of Flame because we want to get as much value out of it as we possibly can. So for that reason, I really want to play like this card this turn and put ourselves in a position to maximize our cards in the face of burn spells, basically. So what we're going to do is we're going to cast a Voice of Resurgence and a Viscera Seer. And now his burn spells are much less effective against us. We get to scry with our creatures, and we get to prevent Pillar of Flame from like exiling our Voice of Resurgence or anything like that. And I'll pass to you. And also we now have a blocker for his Goblin Guide too, which is pretty important.
Alright, so that was a pretty decent draw. So, I'm just going to play this mountain. And now at this point we just have to figure out how we're going to be able to maximize the amount of damage that we can deal to him. So I think that I think that I want to suspend
Okay.
and spike you.
All right. Puts me to 13.
13. And I don't think that attacking here is worth it. So I'm just going to pass.
Okay, so we have a number of options here. Well, we actually have one option here, I should say. I wouldn't say a number. We can sack our Voice of Resurgence to the Viscera Seer. That's going to allow us to scry one and also put a significant amount of pressure on him. And I actually think that's what we want to do here because he has a lot of burn spells likely, and we want to be able to kill him before he can kill us. So I'm going to go ahead and sack Voice of Resurgence to Viscera Seer. I'm going to get a big old elemental, and I get to scry. Okay, so this is a very good card. I don't know if we want it or not. We probably do. So I think we are going to just show CVM the Misty Rainforest he knew about. And then I think we're just going to leave this on top. And it may not be entirely relevant immediately, but later on in the game I think that'll be very important for us. Alright, so now we will draw a card. Play a Misty Rainforest. Go ahead and crack the Misty Rainforest. Go to 12. Now, I would like to get a white source here, just so we have access to it later. But I don't want to take 2 damage to search out a Temple Garden. So I'm actually just going to get, if it's in here somewhere, just going to get a basic forest.
How lucky.
Yep, super lucky. Taking 2 less points of damage is going to be more relevant, and he's already throwing burn spells at our face, so like our Birds of Paradise is probably not going to die, so we're probably still going to be able to cast white spells if we need to. And cut. Because of the way the elemental token works, we want to cast all of our creatures pre-combat so that it pumps the elemental as big as it can get. So Kitchen Finks, we go to 14, and Deathrite Shaman. So now, because of Viscera Seer, he can't Pillar of Flame or Kitchen Finks, and we get to basically gain 2 life whenever we want to by sacrificing it. And then we will attack for 5. So 14 all. And I'll pass the turn.
All right, so Rift Bolt. Is going to go here.
Okay. That's pretty much what I expected him to do. Viscera Seer is very powerful for us on this board state. So basically that gives us the option, do we sacrifice our Kitchen Finks right now? Doing so would gain us 2 life effectively and let us scry. But it also shrinks our Kitchen Finks. So it comes down to whether or not he has like a Pillar of Flame, or whether or not like doing the 2, gaining the 2 life is worth it. And I think that it is actually. So I'm actually going to go ahead and sack Kitchen Finks in response to Viscera, to you Rift Bolting the Seer. So Kitchen Finks comes back with a counter. We go to 16, and I get to scry. I do not want that, so I'll put that on the bottom. And now I'm going to sack the Seer to itself in response to the Rift Bolt. Scry again. And I also do not want this. Or maybe I do. I think I do want that. Yeah, I'll keep that one. And yeah, proceed.
All right, so here we have a couple different options. So I can do both of these. And I think that's what I want to do. Maybe actually, it might be better just to do this and then attack first. So I think that I'm actually going to do that. Yeah. So I'm going to pillar the kitchen finks.
Okay, kitchen finks is gone. So he did end up having the pillar, which makes our line of play a lot better.
Then I'll attack with the Goblin Guide.
All right, and we kept a land on top because we figured our guy was probably going to die. So we'll take 2, go to 14.
Okay. And now I'm also going to Magma Jet the Deathrite Shaman.
Sure.
And we'll scry 2. And I don't think that I want either of these. So I don't think that I want either of those, actually.
Okay.
It's probably wrong, but we'll see. And then I'll pass.
All right. It's a pretty good card. It's a very good card, actually. I'm not sure that we want to play it this turn. I don't think we do. But having access to it is pretty powerful. Although actually it is possible we might actually want to play it this turn. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think that might be the case. So we'll play our Misty Rainforest. We're at 14, right? 14 all? Yeah. Yeah, I think we actually do want to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to cast... we're going to cast Eternal Witness, and we're going to get back Viscera Seer. We're going to cast Viscera Seer.
Sure.
And we're going to attack for 4.
10.
And then we'll pass the turn.
Okay. That Viscera here is just really good.
It is.
All right, so I think that I want to keep the pressure on with this creature here. 3, 4. Maybe I should just do that, actually. Alright, so I'm just going to... Do I just attack here? Get rid of both of his creatures. He blocks. Yeah, so I'm just going to attack, triggering Goblin Guide.
Okay, so there's 2 different options for us here, even before we decide whether to block, just in response to Goblin Guide's trigger. We can either let the trigger happen, see what it is, and then shuffle it away with Misty Rainforest if it's bad, or we can crack the Misty Rainforest now to get a tapped Temple Garden, and then we'll keep whatever Goblin Guide reveals. But basically the reason to do it before is so we can get the tapped Temple Garden. Because if it's a card we do want, then we can no longer crack our Misty. We don't want to crack our Misty Rainforest anymore. So basically, it comes down to that basically, and because of what's in our hand, I think we're actually going to crack pre-combat, go to 13, because I want to have a Temple Garden in play, and I'm not too worried about what Goblin Guide reveals. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We can also use a Viscera Seer, worst case scenario, to scry something to the bottom if we absolutely don't want to draw it, which probably don't want to sacrifice a creature for that effect, but it is certainly a possibility. Alright, so Goblin Guide reveals a Birds of Paradise. Birds of Paradise. And we're going to go ahead and block with Eternal Witness. Again, we just want to keep our life total high. He can kill our elemental with a burn spell by doing this, but I'm okay with that. So
Sure.
Let's trade.
And I will pass.
Okay. So we are going to be drawing a Birds of Paradise. And we'll cast a Birds of Paradise.
Sure.
Okay. So now that our elemental is a 4/4, he probably would have bolted it in response if his plan was to bolt it at all. So his plan is probably not to bolt it. And we'll go ahead and cast a Scavenging Ooze as well.
Sure.
And we'll attack for 5.
All right, so let's... I'm going to Magma Jet the Viscera Seer.
Magma Jet the Viscera Seer. So do you scry if the spell resolves? Even if the spell doesn't resolve?
It has to resolve for me to scry.
Okay. So we will sacrifice the Viscera Seer to itself.
Sure.
To counter that spell and scry. I think... Let's see, do we want this card? I don't think we do want this card. Yeah, it doesn't actually do anything for us here. Like we're just going to win with damage. Like there's no reason to try to combo him at this point. So we'll go ahead and put that on the bottom and proceed on with our lives.
6.
So he's at 6. So we have two options here. We can remove 2 creatures right now with Scavenging Ooze. That'll make it a 4/4 and put it out of Lightning Bolt range. Or we can wait and counter his Deathrite Shaman with it. And I don't think there's anything too scary for Deathrite Shaman to use. I mean, he can do 2 damage to us with it if he wants to, but we're at 13, so we're still pretty healthy. So I'm actually going to go ahead and use it twice because I want to keep the Scavenging Ooze around. So I'm going to exile your Goblin Guide, gain a life, and I will exile my own Eternal Witness.
Sure.
And I am up to 15. And that's it for me.
Uh, so I think I just have to like gain 2 life here with my Deathrite Shaman and go to 8. But I think I'm still pretty dead regardless of what you draw. So I'll eat your voice.
Okay, so you're at 8.
Go ahead.
Draw. Okay. I don't think there's a way for us to kill him this turn. So I guess the best we can do is we'll just, well, actually maybe there is. No. Yeah, there isn't. So we'll go ahead and send with both of these.
No, I'll block the use.
Okay. You'll take 4.
4.
So you're down to 4. We'll play Verdant Catacombs. Cast. We're at 15 right now. I think we can afford to take damage and leave open extra mana to activate our ooze. So we'll take 2 and play Birthing Pod. Down to 13. And I will go ahead and pod away our Birds of Paradise. And I think we just want to get a Voice of Resurgence.
Done?
I'm done.
And I think that we were just drawing Slim from the get-go, so let's just game.
Okay. Alright, we are back for the second game. This is still a pre-board game. And then we'll move on to post-board games after this one.
All right, so this hand would be just absolutely awesome if these 2 Lava Claw Reaches were
Not Lava Claw Reaches?
any other lands. Yeah, I feel like I'm just gonna be so slow, even though I have just like this. This is just hands down the best card in my deck against him. Gosh. Yeah, I don't think I can afford to keep this.
Okay. I am going to keep my hands. We have this card, which is pretty good against him. And we have this card, which is actually, you wouldn't expect it, but I think this is one of the best cards in our deck against him. So we want to keep basically based on the power of these 2 cards and the ability to cast them. So.
All right, so we're back with the 6-lander.
6-lander?
6-carder.
I'd snap that off.
And yeah, I think I'm going to keep this.
Okay.
It definitely has some potential. So we're going to go to 17.
Looks like a 1-drop to me.
And play this guy.
All right.
After getting good old Blood Crypt.
All right.
And it's your turn.
We drew an interesting one, and by that I mean we didn't really want to draw that, but too bad. We will just play a Birds of Paradise and ship it on back.
Alright, so we're just gonna start this party off.
Wow, okay. Deathrite Shaman, and then for the second one I'm going to reveal Misty Rainforest. Nah, still Deathrite Shaman. Alright, so we're taking 4, and I'm at 16.
And I'll pass the turn.
That's pretty rough for us. All right. Wow. So he misses other land drops, so he just has a fistful of cards, actual cards.
Look at you with these basic lands. Jeez.
All in on the basics.
Lucky BBD.
Is it lucky? I think we're going to play a Birds of Paradise.
And a Deathrite Shaman.
And a Deathrite Shaman. You got it. Here you go.
Right, a land here would be very good. And you don't always get what you ask for.
Well, I'm familiar with that one.
Alright, so we're going to start out with just attacking with these Goblin Guides.
Alright, we're going to start by taking a lot of damage. We will take 4, go to 12. A land off of any of those would have been exceptional, but you don't always get what you want.
So we have an option between one of these two, and I think that this is the one that I want to do.
Suspend a Riftbolt, sure.
And then I'll pass.
Okay. So we will draw this card we didn't want to draw, and I think our play here is pretty straightforward. I think we just jam Linvala. So play Linvala, which blocks his Goblin Guides and prevents his Deathrite Shaman from activating. So pretty good. And we will pass the turn.
Alright, so wish I knew if there was a land on top of my deck or not. So I don't know if there is, so I actually just have to point this Riftbolt at the Linvala.
Okay.
And then I will draw a card for my turn. We will attack with both Goblin Guides.
All right, we'll flip a Verdant Catacombs, hooray, and then a Voice of Resurgence.
Well, that's just what I wanted to see.
All right, so that's because of our hand, and because we're able to basically gain some life here. I don't want to throw Linvala away. I want to keep his Deathrite Shaman from being able to activate, especially because we're about to play a fetch land next turn. And I want to prevent him from using his Deathrite in any way to deal us additional damage. So I'm just actually going to not block and go to 8.
Alright. Spike you.
Go to 5.
Go ahead.
All right. We will draw a Voice of Resurgence. Play it. Play a Verdant Catacombs. So we have access to 6 mana this turn. I like the idea of playing I think these 3 are what I want to play. So he is at 17, so we can actually get aggressive if we desperately need to. So we're going to crack Verdant Catacombs, go down to 4, and we're going to get a basic forest. Or a basic swamp, actually. We can get a swamp. Although, we might actually just want a forest. I think we'll go with Swamp.
I think a Swamp's better, like if you don't need the actual color, because then all of your fetches can get a basic, whereas if you take the Forest, it cuts off Misty getting a basic for you.
I have 3 forests, so.
Oh, I thought it only had 2.
Yeah.
Never mind then.
Doesn't actually do that. We'll play Viscera Seer. Play Voice of Resurgence. We'll exile this Verdant Catacombs and play Spike Feeder. Spike Feeder being pretty good right now. And I think so we have 3 creatures back to block if we need to. And we have Spike Feeder to gain us some life as well if we need to. Barring getting our skull cracked. So I think we may actually want to get aggressive here with Linvala. Would put him at 14 and then represent a lot of damage next turn as well. It's definitely a riskier line, but yeah, I'll get aggressive with Linvala. So put you at 14. Yep. And pass it off to you. It's definitely possible we wanted to use Spike Feeder on his turn to play around Skullcrack, but I do want to block a Goblin Guide before I start gaining life. So
I'll bump.
Bumped. Down to 1.
Go.
Right. We will sacrifice Voice of Resurgence to Scry.
Sure.
We do not want that card. It goes to the bottom. Let's go to draw. Deathrite Shaman, Birds of Paradise. And we'll go ahead and crack in. We'll go ahead and crack in with the team here. Or these 3, I should say. I guess it's not quite the team.
Block the Elemental and the Spike Feeder.
Okay, I'll gain 4 life. So up to 5. And you take 3 down to 11.
Yep.
And I want to go ahead and I think we want to go ahead and gain 2 life right now. Yeah, let's go ahead and gain 2 life right now. Go to 7. Exiling your Deathrite. And I will pass the turn after that. We have, once we start pulling ahead on life, like, he can't really do anything about it, so.
I'll attack with just 1 Goblin.
Alright, attacks with the Goblin Guide, we flip over Court of Calling. We do want to draw that. So we will leave it on top and not crack our Misty Rainforest. And we want to block so that we don't, so we can soak up as much as we want, so we will block with Birds of Paradise. And yeah, there's no reason to scry since we know. We know what our top card is and we would like to draw it.
Nah, I'm just gonna do this now.
If he didn't do that now, we could try to get him with a
Cord for
Enabling mind sensor, yeah,
yeah.
to try to keep him from hitting a land. But I don't think we would do that because it is pretty likely he'll have one in the top 4 they can get with it.
Especially since I didn't draw any for the first 7 turns.
Yeah. Especially since it's been a while since he's drawn one. And you're at 10 right now?
Yep.
Okay. Draw. All right, so he's at 10. We're at 7. I'm going to go ahead and fetch, go to 6. Go to forest. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That may have been wrong, actually. Yeah, I think that was wrong. So now, the line of play I want to go for is cord for a murderous redcap to kill this goblin guide and then try to kill him this turn. The reason I think that may be wrong is because no, I guess that's actually still right. Yeah, because we can tap our Viscera Seer. So, in case he has double bolt, I don't want to lose. So we will go ahead and tap our Viscera Seer in these two and cord for 4.
Sure.
Get a murderous redcap and do 2 to the goblin guide. Alright, and we will attack with just these 2. We don't want to attack with a Deathrite because if he has double bolt and he double bolts us, we lose. But since there are lands in the graveyard, we can gain life if we need to. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're attacking for 11 anyway.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Okay. All right, so we are back for sideboarding. Personally, my sideboarding is pretty minimal for the most part. A lot of the cards in my main deck are already pretty good in this matchup. But I do want 2 Abrupt Decay. I want to be able to kill Bob and Grim Lavamancer primarily, because those 2 cards can run away with the game. And I don't really have good removal for them except for Redcap, but Redcap's pretty slow. So I want 2 pieces of early removal for those guys. Core Firewalker is pretty self-explanatory, and then Spellskite is just a way to protect some of my creatures. And if I have a Birds of Paradise or a Deathrite Shaman, I can actually pay the blue to prevent a burn spell from hitting me.
Definitely. I feel like I get some decent upgrades here. We're actually citing 10 cards. I want the Force Searing Blaze for obvious reasons. He has creatures, and I want to kill his creatures and him. Pillar Flame is very good against him. He has Kitchen Finks and Voice of Resurgence. Guess Verdict just is another removal spell. Linvala actually was very good against me that game. And if I'm able to clear out the rest of his creatures, I can kill his Linvala. And then Smash the Smithereens is an answer to an early Birthing Pod if he happens to have one, but as well also it kills Spellskite too. It could be that I only want one of these, but I think boarding in 2 just a hedge is going to be fine.
Yeah, you definitely don't want a lot. You don't want to sit there with smashes in your hand when I'm smashing you with Kitchen Finks and stuff.
I feel like Spike and Skullcrack just aren't very good here. He has enough different ways to gain life, and I'm wanting to put on pressure as much as I can that I don't think I'm just going to be able to sit back and Skullcrack, as well as Spike is just 3 damage to him and that's it. And Goblin Guide just feels miserable against your deck full of creatures. So
yeah, Goblin Guide just gets brickwalled by anything I play really.
Yeah,
so.
I've drawn more Goblin Guides the last couple of games than I have land or good spells, so just going to get them out of my deck.
Sounds like a plan, yeah.
So let's see how this works.
Hopefully well for me.
All right, so we're back for game 3. It's our first sideboarded game.
Hold on 1 second.
Good.
All right, yeah.
Are we ready? All right, we're back for a game 3. It's our first sideboarded game. I get to be on the play again because I got destroyed in the last game. And I have 0 lands, so we're going to mulligan.
Okay. While he's doing that, I'm going to discuss something that I forgot, which is the cards I'm actually siding out against CVM. And it's a Sin Collector, and the reason for boarding out Sin Collector, even though it actually isn't that bad, like you have a lot of spells I can get, the body is not terribly relevant against cards like Grim Lavamancer, and I would like to be doing better things on turn 3 than just like trying to hit a card out of your hand. You might have cast like all the spells out of your hand by then. And then Kasali Pride Mage, like he doesn't have any artifacts or enchantments we want to blow up. So just basically a 2/2 for 2 is not that exciting. Mind Sensor is basically like, he has a couple of fetch lands that it might like make a little bit worse. He still's probably going to hit a land out of them. And the 2/1 body is like not that great. And then the same thing with Witness. Witness actually is good against him, but it's just very slow. And I'm not sure that we want to be spending our time like recycling whatever's in our graveyard. Like our bigger threats are probably just going to stay in play anyway.
All right, here we are looking at our 6. We're on the play. So we have lands. I'll go ahead and keep it.
All right.
Go ahead.
Calling that a land is a bit of a reach, but
Gotta claw my way out of this hole somehow.
I will. Basically, I didn't mention my hand, but basically this hand was pretty good. This was our draw for turn, which was obviously excellent. But this hand is like not super exciting, but we have so many powerful cards in our deck that we're bound to draw into something. We're going to go ahead and fetch a Forest and cast a Deathrite Shaman. We want to fetch a Forest here because we just want to take as little damage as we possibly can from our lands. So, here you
go. All right. So, that draw isn't too terribly exciting, but it definitely will do something at some point in the game. So, I'm going to fetch here.
Okay, so we're both at 19.
Yep. And I'm going to get a mountain. And we're going to bolt the Deathrite Shaman and bump you.
Okay, so I'm at 16. And all right, my go. Pretty good draw. We'll definitely want that later in the game. As for our turn, we want to basically play both of these cards, and I'm going to use this land to do it because I want to save this to maybe get a shock land if needed. Like so, I don't want to go ahead. I don't want to have to blow this on a basic right now. Is what I'm basically saying. So I'm going to shock myself with God of the Shrine down to 14. Play a Deathrite Shaman and a Viscera Seer. Here you go.
Just always have that Viscera Seer.
Yep.
Alright, so we don't have a whole lot of options here. So we're just going to go ahead and play a land. And I feel like this just has to be 100% wrong, but I think we just have to do it anyways. So I'm going to bolt the Viscera Seer.
I'll sacrifice it to itself.
Yep.
This card is like not exciting, but at the same time I think it really makes our hand a little bit better, so I will keep it on top.
Okay. And I think that I just have to wait. So I'll just pass.
Okay. Draw. So we'll play Verdant Catacombs. I'm going to go ahead and crack it down to 13. I'm just going to get a basic swamp. Well, yeah, we'll get a basic swamp. Or maybe I should get a basic forest. Yeah, I should probably get a basic forest. I don't think we need the swamp since we have the Godless Shrine. Cast a Kitchen Finks, go to 15. And I'll exile one of these to play a Birds of Paradise and pass it off to you.
So drawing a creature at some point would be real sweet. But we don't have that luxury at this point, so I'm just going to Pillar the Finks.
Unfortunate for us.
And we'll Guess Verdict you.
So we are down to 14 from the Guess Verdict, and we'll sack Birds of Paradise.
And I'll play a land, and then I'll pass the turn.
All right.
It's possible I should have just held the land, but at some point I have to play it to activate my Lava Claw Reaches. So. This is the type of game that just really showcases how powerful Dark Confidant is. Like, if I would have had a Bob at some point,
An active Bob, yeah.
like I would just still be in this game on the mulligan as opposed to being pretty far behind.
I'm just going to pass. So unfortunately, we don't have anything exciting to do. And he's probably just going to Lava Claw us, but...
So I didn't pop the fetch on the end step because I wanted to be able to Searing Blaze if I were to happen to draw a Searing Blaze. But I think that at this point I do just have to fetch.
All right, 18.
I'm actually going to go to 16. I take it back. We'll just do 18.
Okay.
That's a Verdant Catacombs, so I have to get a swamp. Activate Lava Claw Reaches and attack you.
I accept the terms. Go to 12.
And then I'll pass.
I will... You have no creatures, right?
I do not.
I'll exile Birds of Paradise and gain 2. To go to 14. Sweet. Birds of Paradise.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Well, he just has 2 cards in his hand and he's not casting anything. So I imagine one of them has to be an Abrupt Decay, but I'm just going to play the Bob anyways, and then I'll pass.
You're correct. I'll Abrupt Decay the Bob, and I will exile it to 16.
Go ahead.
Pass the turn to you.
Alright, so if I were to attack with the Lava Claw Reaches here, and he has Court of Calling, he can get a red cap and kill my Lava Claw Reaches. So then I just have to play a land, and then pass the turn.
Alright, so we have a Court of Calling, and I'm going to go ahead and crack this, go to 15. Alright, and I'm going to use that time to figure out what I actually want to get. It's probably this. I would like to get this, actually, so it might be worth waiting a turn. This card seems very good against him. This card actually is very good in this board state too, but this might actually be the best card for us to get, as weird as it sounds. But since we have Deathrite, I think it's probably not. It's kind of a tough decision. There's a lot of awesome cards. Yeah, like this plays around him drawing future cards he could draw. I think we actually are just going to get an Overgrown Tomb, and we're not going to cast it yet. We're going to wait. And basically see what we need to draw, or basically what we need based on future draws. So I think we just do that, and now that he has 5 lands, he's close to flashing back Bump in the Night. So we will go ahead and exile that with Deathrite Shaman. Puts you down to 16. So it might be a mistake to not cast it there and just start putting pressure on him, but at the same time I want to make sure we're getting like the best threat we can. And we'll pass again. Alright, at this point we will cast it because we can cast it for 5 and I want to get Archangel of Thune, so.
Yep.
Draw a card. That's really good. I'll cast Court of Calling for 2. Alright. Scavenging Ooze. I will exile.
Any particular reason you didn't for 3 and just go get Spike Feeder to try and kill me?
Oh yeah, I guess I could do that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to concede because I have Special Smithereens, but
yeah. I guess
you
I
just
forgot.
get a
I forgot
Spike
about that
Feeder and kill
combo.
me.
Yeah, you're right. So, all right, we are back for game number 4 of this battle.
I get to play first again.
Exciting stuff.
Definitely. And I mean, I definitely have seen better hands, but we're still going to keep this one.
I'm in exactly the same boat. I've seen much better hands, but still going to keep this one. Goblin Guide. I'm happy seeing that on top.
That's good news. Go ahead.
I'll draw it. And I think we just shock ourselves and play Viscerous here. Your turn. Not the exciting start I wanted, but
Alright, so
we have to play our threats on curve, or else they're just pointless. They're just useless. So.
Alright, so I'm just going to attack with Goblin Guide.
Alright, Scavenging Township. And I'll take it, go to 14.
Alright, I'm going to fetch for a swamp and play a Bob.
Okay.
Puts me 19. Then it's your turn.
Very unexciting draw for us there. So we could shock ourselves to play this, but I'm not a huge fan of that line. I'd rather just play this, I think. So yeah, we'll just play a Melira. And pass the turn.
Alright, so we get a bob trigger.
Bolts down to 18.
Draw for turn. So I think that I want... we have a couple different options here. I just want to play these. I know that he has a kitchen finks that's going to be coming up next turn. So he's going to be able to gain a bunch of life with that Viscera Seer. So I think that the best course is going to be to just bolt the Melira.
Alright, I'll sack it to the Viscera Seer.
Sure.
I will leave it on top.
And then we will battle with the Goblin Guide, draw your land.
I will. I'll take it, go to 12.
Player reaches and bump.
Down to 9.
And I'll pass.
Alright, something good. That is good, actually. But this turn is just going to be the Kitchen Finks show. So we'll go to 11.
Yep.
And your turn.
So I did mention this before, but I brought the Goblin Guides back in and cut the guest verdicts, just because, like, he doesn't have it this game, but all the other 3 games he's had a million mana guys, and guest verdict just does nothing. So I figure this guy's got to be better.
And this game's been significantly better, so.
Yeah. All right. So upkeep, we're going to get a bob trigger. Draw for my turn. Oh my god.
Activate Lava Claw reaches and attack with just reaches.
Just reaches. We're reaching here.
I mean, that might be might be a bit of a stretch, but
And I just have to pass the turn.
okay. Draw. Interesting. Definitely interesting. That is for sure. I will cast a Cartel Aristocrat.
Sure.
Crack this. Go to 10. Get a forest. Yeah, I'll play Scavenging Ooze. Hopefully that is not a mistake. And I'll pass turn to you.
I'll fetch.
Sure. 17.
Bob trigger. Draw.
CDM, what's your favorite enemy in Halo?
a brick.
Is it not the flood?
Rift Bolt this guy.
Rift Bolt is the old scavenging ooze. So I can either sack the Viscera Seer to scry, or I can sack the Cartel to give protection. I feel like he's probably not going to be attacking with Goblin Guide. I'll sack the Cartel, actually. Give protection from red.
Go ahead.
Okay. Draw.
So, actually think it's relevant to mention, since I knew that you had the Gavany Township, I actually just can't beat this,
Yeah, it's that's pretty strong, yeah.
actually.
I am going to... I'm going to pass the turn. I'm going to respond to that. I'm going to Court of Calling for... Yeah, I'll Court of Calling for 2.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. I'm getting Melira,
Yeah.
and I'm going to try to
As long as it's
gain
not
infinite life.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not in your hand.
Yeah. I wanted to wait for him to crack the fetch in case he had like a Magma Jet or something, or a Searing Blaze.
Like the last two, it's been land off Bob and then land for turns.
Yeah, I figured as much, but I definitely wanted to try to prevent any shenanigans from occurring. So, all right, we are back for the 5th and final game.
The ultimate game. And I get to go first again.
Exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff.
Very exciting. All right, well, we actually have a halfway decent hand this time, which is exciting.
My hand is okay. This hand looks... against a random opponent, this hand is insane. But in this matchup, I'm not sure this hand's really that good. But definitely keeping it. So.
Yeah, me too. All right, so we're going to get a mountain and battle.
Oh. So you're at 19, and I am flipping over a Verdant Catacombs and going to 18.
Go ahead.
Draw. All right. Well, that was an awesome draw. And I will bird it up. Bird is the word.
The bird is the word.
Your turn.
All right, so we have a couple different options here. I don't know if I want to try and keep him off of having 2 mana, or having 3 mana for next turn, but I think that I do.
So you're at 17.
So I'm going to shock. I'm going to attack first just to see what's on him. Just obviously another land.
Go to 16.
And then I'm going to
Jet him.
Magma Jet the birds.
Sure.
And we'll scry. And I think that I'll keep that one there, and then ship this one to the bottom. Go ahead.
All right. And draw. That's a pretty bad draw. So we will go to 13. One awkward thing I just noticed about this deck is it has a basic plains, and none of the fetch lands can get it. So a little bit awkward. And actually, I'm going to...
That is a little awkward, actually.
I'm actually going to crack a Verdant Catacombs instead of that Misty, so I can get a Godless Shrine. And I'm going to cast a Voice of Resurgence. And that'll be it for me. And hopefully we don't die before we have a chance to start casting these cards. It's basically the hope. Don't die.
Alright, so at this point, we are going to just take 2.
17.
15, actually. I shocked last turn.
Oh, okay. 15. 13 to 15.
We're just going to play both of these guys.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to attack with my Goblin Guide.
Alright.
I think I want to try and get that voice off of the table.
Flip off Death Rights. And yeah, we're blocking. Elemental.
Go ahead.
Alright, so draw Death Rights. And we will play a Death Rights. Yeah, we'll play Death Rights. And we'll pass the turn.
Mystery Enforced doesn't get Godless Shrine. If that's what you were wanting to get before.
That's why I went with a Verdant
Yeah.
instead. Yeah.
Alright. Bob Trigger.
Mm-hmm. Lightning Bolt.
14.
That's a good one.
Draw card. Okay. So we're going to suspend,
Sure.
play a Lava Claw Reaches. Excuse me. And I'm going to pass the turn.
Alright. End of turn. Quarter Calling for 1.
That resolves.
So we can either get a Viscera Seer or a Mana Guy. I kind of like getting a Mana Guy more because our guys are probably going to die. So yeah, I'm just going to get a Deathrite Shaman. Deathrite also allows us to help attack, counteract his Deathrites as well. And he is at 14 life, so we do actually have a possibility of putting some pressure on him. That was a really good draw. Very happy with that draw. In fact, we will start by casting Voice of Resurgence.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, so we know he's probably not going to be lightning bolting us or any of our guys at this point because he would be taking damage to do so. So we'll play Misty Rainforest. I think we just play this. We are at 13, so we do have to respect the fact that he's got a bolt, 2 Deathrite activations, and a Rift Bolt. So we definitely have to respect that. So it might be right to just not play anything here. And just hold open for Deathrite Shamans. It is a tough decision. I think I'm going to go for Crack a Misty. Down to 12.
Get a shot, go to 10?
Could. Go get a forest, actually. Exile your Scalding Tarn. Spike Feeder.
I have a response.
Okay.
Did you play a land this turn?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Then I don't have a response if you play a land.
Okay, yeah. I'll attack for 5. So you're down to 9?
Yep.
I'll pass it to you.
Alright, so... I'll eat your cord.
Okay, down to 10.
I'm also going to bolt you.
All right, I'll trigger Voice of Resurgence.
Sure.
Down to 7. And I'm thinking. So if he has Skullcrack, we lose. Because he can Rift Bolt us, Skullcrack us in response to Spike Feeder, and yeah, we're just straight dead. So.
Well, you can resolve these individually.
Yeah, I understand that, but
just pointing that out for people that might not understand.
Yeah, I can resolve those individually, so I would still be able to gain 2 life, but considering like a bolt, a lightning bolt, a Skullcrack, and a Deathrite is going to kill us through that anyway. I guess that kills us even if we use Spike Feeder, but I don't know. I still think it's too risky to not use it now, so we'll go ahead and gain 4.
Sure.
Up to 11, and you can proceed. All right, I'm at 8.
Bob?
Am I dead? Jet, you're at 7.
Draw card.
You're dead too.
And I drew the lightning bolt.
So yeah, bolts, Skullcrack, and a Deathrite.
I had this Skullcrack, but...
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yep, you got it. All right, we are here for the conclusion of
another modern battle.
Yeah, some modern mastery was.
Yeah, it's the matchup.
Maybe displayed. I don't know.
The matchup was really close. I felt like I was in it every single game.
It did seem that way.
Just got really lucky to win.
Yeah, like there were a lot of games where like I was at like 14. You know, just 5 more burn spells and I'm dead. Like very close. So.
Oh man, it was actually just. It felt. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than it was, but I literally had to draw a 2-outer to kill you that last game. It's just pretty unreal.
Yeah, the matchup was definitely not. I definitely thought the matchup was going to be close as well, and I was a little surprised to find out that just was not the case.
No.
To be fair, I had very good draws, but I think this deck just has those draws. Like
I mean, like all the cards do almost the same thing. There's redundancy there.
Yep.
I mean, I felt my draws were extremely poor, but that's the risk you run when you're playing Lava Spike in your deck.
Yep. Sometimes you're playing Lava Spike and your opponent's gaining 4 or 5 life, so it just like Deathrite Shamans and Ooze and Kitchen Finks and Spike Feeder. Just
Angel of Thune.
Yeah, they just all kind of invalidate the Lava Spikes.
Yeah.
Like they do they do awesome things by virtue of being creatures, and then they also just completely negate one of those spells.
Yeah, it's like I feel like this deck would be good in like a large field where you're not going to run into a bunch of Melira pod, but at like a PTQ, there's a good chance that 2 or 3 of your 7 or 8 rounds are going to be pod, and that just will knock you out of top 8 contention.
Yep. Yeah, and like one thing I really liked about this deck is I really did like the Archangel of Thune Spike Feeder thing, even though I didn't have a chance. Like I guess I was able to do it that one game, but other than that, like I just didn't have a chance to really assemble it. But the cards still seem fine on their own.
Yeah.
Like Spike Feeder can still be a pretty miserable pump spell if you need it to be. And I had Gavany. There were a lot of times where I had like a Spike Feeder and playing a Gavany in my hand. And I'm just like, even getting that active is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like neat synergy with like +1/+1 counters and things like that in this deck. And I also want to point out that don't play League of Legends with Spike Feeder because he's not very good at it. So he'll go 0-10 in lane. We'll say that much. But
yep.
Yeah. So anything you disliked in particular besides just the deck itself? Like
I mean,
or liked, what were the cards
I wouldn't say that I dislike the deck. I feel like this is just an abysmal matchup, and it might be better against the other matchups as well.
Okay.
And I'm sure that Ari will chime in the comments since this was his list.
Yeah.
But like I felt like not drawing a Grim Lavamancer is pretty terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're just like at the whim of the top 7. Like there isn't a whole lot of play with the deck. Like you just have to make calculated plays hoping to draw the right cards. And if you don't, then you're just dead to somebody just playing the spells that they draw because they're all good.
Right.
Like I feel like those types of decks, while they might be okay in standard, in an older format like this where you have a lot more options and a lot more powerful cards, like you're probably better off just playing one of those other decks.
Yeah, that's fair. And I feel like this is one of those decks. Like
Definitely.
Melira Pod just gives you so many options. Like you could see every turn there were just a large number of things I could do. I'm sure I did a lot of things wrong, and I'm sure people will let me know like ways I could have played better. But
you didn't even need to use Birthing Pod to win.
Yeah,
you had it one game when
it was irrelevant.
You were just winning regardless. So
yeah,
and
and
play your good creatures.
There were a few times where it was stuck in my hand. It was a little too slow, but I just had too much board presence anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Court of Calling though was very good. I did
Definitely.
get a lot of value out of Court of Calling. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the things about this deck. I have so many different targets, and they're all good at different situations, and so there's a lot of play to figuring out like the best lines you can take. Like that one game, I could have gone for the Melira Infinite Life combo a turn earlier, but you had like 4 untapped lands. So I'm just it seemed a little risky to go for it there, but maybe I should have. Like it seemed. You were definitely flooding out, but I wasn't sure if you were like all lands or just like 2 lands or what.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you weren't in any trouble of dying. So
right.
Waiting does nothing but give you more equity in the match.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I definitely like the fact that this deck is powerful and has a lot of options. It seems like a great deck to play. It's also been very successful. Like it's done well in the Grand Prix. It won the Mox. Just
yeah.
It really has put up good finishes and feels like a good deck.
For sure. I feel like if this was like a traditional burn deck with like Pyroclasms in the sideboard, I would have had a lot better shot. But trying to rely on like Dark Confidant and Deathrite Shaman against a better Deathrite Shaman deck just really feels like that's not where you want to be.
Yeah, like I have more mana than you, and I have more like leeway to activate my Deathrite Shamans. I can use mine to counter yours.
Yeah.
I also have Linvala too, which shuts down Lavamancer and Deathrite. So that card's also very good against you. But
you had it all. Had it all.
In my deck. All right. I had it all in my deck. All right.
I mean, they were in play.
That's right. Yeah, I guess they were in play too. Sometimes you have it. So.
Yeah, but it definitely was fun. Modern is a great format. I know that the next PTQ season it's already started actually, is sealed, M14, and then Theros when Theros comes out. But we're not doing sealed versus videos, so the masses are clamoring for more Modern, so we definitely will be playing more Modern in the future.
Yeah, definitely, and it's one thing I want to point out is like it's a learning experience for us as well. we're learning some of these decks as we're playing them. So it's definitely something that we love to do. Like I love playing new decks and trying new strategies out, and so it's something that we might not always be making the optimal plays. We may not see the right line at all times, but we're definitely still excited to play these decks, and we're still excited to play Modern if people want to watch that. So, yeah, we just want to play whatever you guys want to see, basically. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, keep chiming in. We definitely read all the comments. Just because we didn't play what you want, like if you posted something and we didn't play exactly what you wanted to see, that doesn't mean we didn't see it or consider it. We definitely did. So
yeah, for sure. We try to make the matchups as interactive as possible. Sometimes things like this happen where it's just completely one-sided. But I mean, I didn't see it coming. Neither did BBD.
Nope.
But now we know. So if you expect a lot of Melira pot, I would not suggest red black burn.
Or you may find yourself feeding your opponents some wins.
Little burnt out.
Yeah.
Well, again, thanks for watching again. It's BBD.
And I'm CVM.
All right. See you guys next week.
Later.